Could you find the coordinates of a treasure buried centuries ago in a forest you've never visited? In the jungles of South America, a young boy who couldn't read or write drew a map of a lost Inca treasure with precision, something archaeologists sought for years. This case, documented by Dr. Ian Stevenson, proves that the soul carries not just memories, but geographical secrets. Today, we will explore the hidden maps of reincarnation and the truths buried beneath the earth. Can reincarnation carry the exact location of a treasure hidden years ago, including geological details? A child drawing a map of a lost treasure using complex coordinates, without ever seeing the region, shows the power of the soul's spatial memory. This story is evidence of a living memory, beyond a piece of old parchment or a rusted compass. Some secrets are so deep that even a physical departure cannot erase them. They wait patiently in the depths of the eternal spirit to be found. This case, examined by Dr. Ian Stevenson, begins with the claims of a young boy named Mateo. Since he started talking, he claimed that in his previous life he was a treasure hunter during the colonial period. His stories didn't seem like simple imagination. He knew old terms and local dialects from that era. Mateo wasn't just mentioning a name, he was talking about a massive secret he had hidden and felt compelled to protect, a sacred relic that was once his life soul mission. Mateo's past identity was Alejandro, an adventurer who knew the steep mountains of the region perfectly. Alejandro claimed he hid a great Inca artifact to prevent it from falling into the hands of invaders. His family couldn't explain how Mateo knew these details. The child hadn't read books or watched documentaries about the area. Mateo's mental images were so vivid, he could describe the weather and the excitement felt on the day the treasure was hidden by his former self. The most striking aspect was that Alejandro's existence was historically verified. Research revealed a man by that name really lived and was known in legends as the guardian of a relic. Alejandro's descendants confirmed their ancestor had a great secret he carried to his final rest. Mateo was now like a voice from that past, wanting to complete the unfinished task. The restlessness of an old soul trapped in a small body grew daily, pushing the family to seek professional help and answers. Mateo didn't just tell stories, he constantly dug in the dirt and played burying games. These were not ordinary games. They resembled concealment operations done with discipline. His parents realized the gravity of the situation when they saw strange lines drawn on his bedroom walls. These were not meaningless scribbles. Upon closer look, they resembled an aerial view of a valley and river flows. Mateo was drawing a map, but the location of this map remained a total mystery to everyone. When Dr. Stevenson arrived, he decided to compare Mateo's sketches with regional maps. The child's sketch looked like it was made by a professional. Mateo marked the angle between two volcanic peaks and specific river bends. It was impossible for a child to imagine these details without aerial views. Stevenson realized this wasn't just a reincarnation case, but a piece of geographical evidence. The lines drawn by tiny hands were slowly turning into a map of reality. The final mark on Mateo's map pointed behind a massive waterfall. He described it as the silent room behind the tears. Locals knew of a hidden waterfall among the steep cliffs, but the area was hard to reach. Mateo not only gave the exact coordinates, but also explained when the passage became visible. It was as if Alejandro's memory still remembered the rhythm of nature in the finest detail, guiding them through the wild jungle to the exact spot where history was hidden. When the research team set out for the valley described by Mateo, they were frozen by the sight. Every curve and peak matched the map perfectly. When Dr. Stevenson overlaid modern satellite maps with Mateo's hand drawing, the error margin was almost zero. This was scientifically inexplicable. How could a child perfectly document a geography he had never seen? The answer lay in that secret passage, just as Mateo had claimed since he first learned to speak. After a tough climb, the team finally reached the massive waterfall. As the roar of the water deafened them, Mateo pointed to the rocks behind the fall. "There," he shouted. Alejandro put it there. At first glance, The rocks looked natural, but Mateo helped them notice a man-made joint hidden under the moss. This was the first clue to a hidden entrance that no one had noticed for centuries. At that point where time stood still, history and the soul merged into one. Behind the waterfall, a massive stone block appeared. It was protected by a complex lock mechanism. Archaeologists didn't know how to open it. Mateo stepped forward without hesitation. He spoke with the confidence of someone who had closed it yesterday. "Turn 3 stones in order," he said. "First to the sunrise, then to the river flow, and finally to your heart." These words were echoes of an ancient code brought to the present by a child's voice. When the child's method was applied, a deep creak broke the silence. The heavy door, unopened for centuries, slowly slid aside. The air inside carried an ancient smell. When the team shone their lights, they couldn't believe their eyes. It was the silent room Mateo had described. It was a sacred shelter. Everyone held their breath, captivated by the magic of the moment. Light conquered darkness. The door was open, and the secrets of the past were finally revealed. In the center of the cave, a shining object sat on a stone pedestal. It was the legendary Inca relic Mateo had mentioned, decorated with gold and gems. This artifact was a priceless discovery. As Mateo approached the relic, a strange peace appeared on his face. It was as if the heavy burden on his shoulders had finally lifted. Stevenson would confirm the relic was from the colonial era, and records showed it had been lost. Alejandro's sacred trust was finally found. This discovery provided physical evidence for reincarnation. How could a child know a lock mechanism and the exact coordinates of a hidden treasure? Mateo was like a living monument proving the soul's continuity, and that it sometimes returns to finish business. Alejandro's legacy had come back to life through the fingertips of a small child and was finally brought into the light. While science remained silent before this jarring truth, history was being rewritten. After the treasure was found, a sudden change was observed in Mateo's behavior. The restless boy who drew maps suddenly returned to normal. It was as if the treasure hunter identity had finished its job and left Mateo's mind. He no longer drew maps or spoke of Alejandro. Stevenson called this the release of memory. The soul had delivered the relic and severed ties with the past to fully focus on its new life. Mateo was now just a normal child, free from the old burden. The scientific world still debates this case. Some researchers argue for genetic transfer, while others claim it's a huge coincidence. But Mateo's precise map weakens these claims. Can genetic memory carry such detailed geographical data and unlock code through generations? Or does the soul carry old data into every new life like a memory drive? Mateo's case continues to push the boundaries of what we know about human consciousness and spiritual survival. This story is less about the treasure and more about the power of the will that hid it. What was Alejandro feeling centuries ago? Perhaps he knew this relic would be found again, and only he could mediate it. In Inca beliefs, the soul's journey is central. Perhaps Alejandro made a promise beyond time to protect ancient wisdom. Mateo was the echo of that ancient promise in the modern world. Two lives had merged into a single purpose across the vast ocean of time. Although Dr. Stevenson's archives are full of similar cases, Mateo's story holds a special place. While other cases verified names, here a physical object was discovered. This moved reincarnation from a matter of faith to a dimension of concrete reality. Stevenson kept in touch with Mateo, but Mateo was now just a normal teenager spending time with friends. The past was no longer a burden of secrets because the mission was finally complete. Have you ever visited a city you didn't know and found it familiar, or felt a talent emerge as if it had always been there? Mateo's story reminds us there might be hidden maps inside us waiting to be discovered. Perhaps our talents and fears are traces of a life we left behind. Even if the soul starts a new page in everybody, the ink of previous pages sometimes leaks through. We are just the current steps of a journey spanning thousands of mysterious years. From an archaeological view, The relic found through Mateo gave vital info on ancient cultures. The symbols on the artifact shed light on rituals for historians. That a child's mental images completed a lost piece of world history is still met with amazement in science. It is considered proof that history is written not just in books, but also in the depths of our soul, waiting for the right moment to be rediscovered by the modern world. Technical analyses on the precision of Mateo's map point to a type of spatial transferability. Experts are trying to solve how a mind can develop an aerial perspective like a satellite. Mateo had said, "I'm looking from above," while drawing. This is a detail showing the soul might have a perspective independent of the body. Perhaps we aren't limited to what our eyes see, but also possess the universal perspective of our eternal spirit. A note in Dr. Stevenson's report is striking. Mateo wasn't just happy when we found the treasure. He was also freed from Alejandro's regrets. This suggests reincarnation isn't just data transfer, but a karma cleansing process. Perhaps Alejandro was uneasy for hiding the treasure. Through Mateo, this cycle was completed. For a soul to find peace, sometimes centuries must pass, and the map must be redrawn by an innocent hand. Listening to this story today, perhaps there's a map waiting to wake up inside you. Dreams you can't tell anyone, or the feeling that you belong to another time. These could all be whispers from your soul's past journey. Mateo was a brave boy because he listened to those voices and led a world-changing discovery. When we learn to trust our inner voices, we will begin to realize how multi-layered and mysterious our existence truly is. What would you do if you faced a situation like Mateo's? If your child drew a map from centuries ago and said the treasure is there, would you believe them? Mateo's family chose to believe, and this opened a door to one of humanity's greatest mysteries. Faith and science joined hands in this case. Dr. Stevenson's rigor and a child's innocence made the impossible possible. Truth is sometimes hidden in the most unexpected places, like a child's scribbles. In future videos, we will examine more cases of this incredible journey of the soul. But Mateo's geographical genius will always remain a reference point, because the earth doesn't lie, and every physical piece of evidence is a signature on the reality of our spiritual world. Lost treasures aren't just gold. The greatest treasure is our ability to understand who we are. This search will never end as long as humanity exists. Stay tuned. In this video, we explored Mateo's miraculous map and Alejandro's legacy. This case, brought to science by Dr. Ian Stevenson, continues to push boundaries. If you have similar, unexplained events in your life, please share them in the comments. Maybe we'll analyze your story in the next video. Remember, each of us is like a secret to be carried. Never fear following the map of your soul. It will lead you exactly where you need to be at the right time. Finally, let's remember that the Inca relic is now displayed in a museum. But that secret room behind the waterfall is still there, whispering that there is something beyond the physical world. In that gap science cannot explain. Faith and evidence dance. Mateo's map is no longer on paper, but in our minds as the most concrete document of reincarnation. Invisible ties continue to connect us to the treasures of the past and our own true essence every day. As we reach the end, I want to leave you with a question. If you had hidden something in a past life, what clue would you leave yourself to find it? Don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and turn on notifications. See you in the next mysterious story. May the light of your soul never fade, and the compass of your heart always lead you to the truth. Goodbye, and never stop searching for the truth hidden deep within the layers of time.